What's going on, everyone at YouTube? This is Very Melon Man, and welcome to episode 5 of the Mass Effect 1 Let's Play. Last episode, we successfully hunted down as much of the evidence as we feasibly could to prove that Saren's association with the Geth is not hearsay. And the lovely lady staying right behind me, Tali Zora, is actually the key to cracking the entire case. So, why I decided, granted, the reason we're here now is because I had to straight up make a new save here for a very important reason. But it's a reason it's going to take a while for me to get to, because it's not going to be relevant to the Let's Play for a long time. Now, if you're wondering why Kane's the party, period, at the end of the previous episode, I decided to do a role-playing type of party lineup where I decided to switch back in another member of the Human Alliance and present him side by side with the Quarian and her evidence, for the sake of making sure that everyone knows that we are allied and that we can trust her testimony.
Come on. Udina's presenting the Quarian's evidence to the Council.
Eden Prime was a major victory. The beacon has brought us one step closer to finding the conduit.
Synchronized walking.
And one step closer to the return of the Reapers.
You wanted proof? There it is.
This evidence is irrefutable, Ambassador. Saren will be stripped of his Spectre status, and all efforts will be made to bring him in to answer for his crimes.
I recognize the other voice, the one speaking with Saren. Matriarch Benezia.
Alright, we're getting somewhere. Talk about getting somewhere. Like, my Shepard is hiding inside, but he is ecstatic at how much of a slam dunk this is.
Who's she?
Matriarchs are powerful Asari who have entered the final stage of their lives. Revered for their wisdom and experience, they serve as guides and mentors to my people. Matriarch Benezia is a powerful biotic, and she had many followers. She will make a formidable ally for Saren.
I'm more interested in the Reapers. What do you know about them?
Only what was extracted from the Geth's memory core. The Reapers were an ancient race of machines that wiped out the Protheans. Then they vanished.
The Geth believe the Reapers are gods, and Saren is the prophet for their return.
We think the conduit...
That was another line that they...
Saren's searching for it. That's why he attacked...
I should probably stop mentioning it, but honestly...
Know what this conduit is?
Yeah.
Saren thinks it can bring back the Reapers. That's bad enough.
Listen to what you're saying. Saren wants to bring back the machines that wiped out all life in the galaxy? Impossible. It has to be. Where did the Reapers go? Why did they vanish? How come we found no trace of their existence? If they were real, we'd have found something.
Oh boy, I absolutely get the right to say this after everything that happened.
I tried to warn you about Saren, and you refused to face the truth. Don't make the same mistake again.
This is different. You proved Saren betrayed the Council. We all agree he's using the Geth to search for the conduit, but we don't really know why.
The Reapers are obviously just a myth, Commander. A convenient lie to cover Saren's true purpose. A legend he is using to bend the Geth to his will.
This is one of those cases where I can genuinely see why these three have the opinion they do, but I need to keep my role-playing up. For the sake of character consistency and the power of my scar.
50,000 years ago, the Reapers wiped out all galactic civilization. If Saren finds the conduit, it will happen again.
Saren is a rogue agent on the run for his life. He no longer has the rights or resources of a Spectre. The Council has stripped him of his position.
That is not good enough. You know he's hiding somewhere in the Traverse. Send your fleet in!
A fleet cannot track down one man.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a needle in a haystack.
Keep the Geth from attacking any more of our colonies.
Or it could trigger a war with the Terminus systems. We won't be dragged into a galactic confrontation over a few dozen human colonies.
Alright. I was angry before, but the elation at having this proof has allowed my Shepard to maintain a more level head, especially since we now realize that there is a way to compromise here between we can't do this big thing just because you want us to, and I'm blatantly ignoring the racist reasons why we can't have you do that thing right now. And this is it.
I can take Saren down.
The commander's right. There is a way to stop Saren that doesn't require fleets or armies.
No, it's too soon. Humanity is not ready for the responsibilities that come with joining the Spectres.
You don't have to send a fleet into the Traverse, and the Ambassador gets his human Spectre. Everybody's happy.
So, here we go. In case you weren't paying attention, whenever the council is about to make a big decision, two of the members will look to the third. The last time we saw this happen, the third member shook his head no, meaning that the council made a decision to unanimously disagree. This time they unanimously agree. Sorry, I'm speaking a little too fast. It's just...
It is the decision of the Council that you be granted all the powers and privileges of the Special Tactics and Reconnaissance branch of the Citadel.
Spectres are not trained, but chosen. Individuals forged in the fire of service and battle. Those whose actions elevate them above the rank and file.
Spectres are an ideal, a symbol, the embodiment of courage, determination, and self-reliance. They are the right hand of the Council, instruments of our will.
Spectres bear a great burden. They are protectors of galactic peace, both our first and last line of defense. The safety of the galaxy is theirs to uphold.
You are the first human Spectre, Commander. This is a great accomplishment for you and your entire species.
And you know what? I'm not gonna look this incredible dick horse in the mouth, sirs and madam.
I'm honored, Counselor.
We're sending you into the Traverse after Saren. He's a fugitive from justice, so you are authorized to use any means necessary to apprehend or eliminate him.
Any idea where to find him?
We will forward any relevant files to Ambassador Udina.
This meeting of the Council is adjourned.
Congratulations, Commander.
We've got a lot of work to do, Shepard. You're going to need a ship, a crew, supplies.
You'll get access to special equipment and training now. You should go down to the C-Sec Academy and speak to the Spectre Requisitions Officer.
Anderson, come with me. I'll need your help to set all this up.
I thought the Ambassador would be a little more grateful. He didn't even thank you.
How to respond to this? Tally does have the right to believe that, I'm not gonna say this, it's a little too rosy, but this is not too big of a deal.
He's got a lot on his mind. Come on.
Right behind you, Commander.
Alright. Here's a Spectre training talent unlocked as our first Spectre bonus. And our second Spectre bonus is a free point of Charm and a free point of Intimidate. Now the free point of Charm is really important because straight up it gives us... It's literally our first free Charm point, which means that I'm going to have to invest 2 more points in the Charm. And I'm going to just spoil you guys a little bit here. While this Charm and Intimidate skill points, the skill trees for Charm and Intimidate have a maximum of 12 points, like every other skill does. If you know what you're doing, you never need to seriously invest anything more than 9 points into either Charm or Intimidate to pass most of the major decisions in the game. So if you do want to min-max, if that's your prerogative, what I recommend you do, if you just want to play Mass Effect 1 once, to have your Shepard ready for Mass Effect 2, is that you seriously only invest a total of 5 points into Charm or Intimidate as you level up. 5 points of Charm to Intimidate as you level up, and then the remaining 4 points of Charm or Intimidate you want are going to be acquired in 2 remaining ways. The first is with the free Spectre initiation bonus. That's your first point. And then the remaining 3 points are going to be accumulated over time as a representation of how many total Paragon or Renegade points you acquire over your Let's Play. If you fill up the Paragon and Renegade bars by 25% each, that's your first free point. Your second free point comes when the bars are 50% full, and the third and final point comes when you have 75% total bar gauge. And there are a couple of exploits in this game that allow you to rapidly fill up the bars of Paragon and Renegade. And those are exploits I have absolutely no reason not to use, because this game is years old and I have nothing to prove by not using them. But the more important part is that it's kind of a drag to deliberately keep waiting until you can do that, you know? Now, the second thing is trying to figure out when exactly I'm going to keep leveling up these certain characters. And that is definitely going to be the thing, isn't it? It's definitely the thing, isn't it? Alright, let's see here.
The Krogan evolved in a hostile and vicious environment. Until the invention of gunpowder weapons, eaten by predators was still the #1 cause of Krogan fatalities. Afterwards, it was death by gunshot. When the Solarians discovered them, the Krogan were a brutal, primitive species, struggling to survive a self-inflicted nuclear winter. The Solarians culturally uplifted them, teaching them to use and build modern technology, so they could serve as soldiers in the Rachni War. Liberated from the harsh conditions of their homeworld, the quick-breeding Krogan experienced an unprecedented population explosion. They began to colonize nearby worlds. Even though these worlds were already inhabited, the Krogan rebellions lasted nearly a century, only ending when the Turians unleashed the Genophage, a Solarian-developed bioweapon that crushed all Krogan resistance. The Genophage makes only 1 in 1,000 pregnancies viable, and today, the Krogan are a slowly dying breed. Understandably, the Krogan harbor a grudge against all other species, especially the Turians.
This piece of of all the non-council races, the Krogan are pretty much... The Krogan and the Quarians basically are just as relevant to the overall meta plot of the trilogy as the 3 council races for obvious reasons. Jesus Christ, though, that is... I get it logically, but man, that's just one of the worst things I could ever imagine the whole species going through.
Driven from their home system by the Geth nearly 3 centuries ago, most Quarians now live aboard the Migrant Fleet, a flotilla of 50,000 vessels ranging in size from passenger shuttles to mobile space stations. Home to 17 million Quarians, the flotilla understandably has scarce resources. Because of this, each Quarian must go on a rite of passage known as the Pilgrimage when they come of age. They leave the fleet and only return once they have found something of value they can bring back to their people. Other species tend to look down on the Quarians for creating the Geth, and for the negative impact their fleet has when it enters a system. This has led to many myths and rumors about the Quarians, including the belief that underneath their clothes and breathing masks, they are actually cybernetic creatures, a combination of organic and synthetic parts.
Yeah, the Quarians invented a microaggression towards their species. That's how bad they get it.
The Asari, the second species to join the Citadel, the Salarians are warm-blooded amphibians.
So I was actually wrong earlier. The Turians joined third,
think fast, talk fast,
which, when you actually think about it, makes more sense.
To Salarians, other species seem sluggish and dull-witted. Unfortunately, their metabolic speed leaves them with a relatively short lifespan. Salarians over the age of 40 are a rarity. The Salarians were responsible for advancing the development of the primitive Krogan species to use as soldiers during the Rachni Wars. They were also behind the creation of the genophage bioweapon the Turians used to quell the Krogan rebellions several centuries later. Salarians are known for their observational capability and non-linear thinking. This manifests as an aptitude for research and espionage. They are constantly experimenting and inventing, and it is generally accepted that they always know more than they are letting on.
One sec, looking you up. Commander Shepard, here with the Alliance military. First time on the Citadel, that about right?
Pretty much.
How did you know all that?
I'm the CSEC requisitions officer. I need to make sure our buyers are authorized. So, will you be purchasing anything today, Commander Shepard?
Show me what you've got.
You can come to the shopkeep earlier, but...
Oh, this must be a mistake. System's telling me to offer you our select stock. Spectre? Well, I heard about that, but I didn't realize it was you. Sorry, Commander.
Just show me what you've got.
I'll open the rare stocks for you, Commander. Enjoy.
Alright, so this is basically... Oh, okay, so I unlocked the Spectre Master Weapons when I was playing my speedrun file with my quickly made Earthborn female Shepherd. Just to, you know, of course, speed up how fast I was playing the game. But the main reason I wanted to do that is just to see if it was going to keep working that way, and that's, again, what we'll be doing. Now that guy, yeah, sorry. Garrus is literally wearing standard Turian CSEC military uniform.
In other news,
now I have to go to the docking bay.
Denying reports that one of their survey teams has gone missing in the Hades Gamma cluster.
I gotta switch up my party because as much as I don't have a problem using Kaidan or Ashley, I still kinda, you know, don't really want them to be the dudes I'm running around the Normandy with. I'm running around the Citadel with, personally.
I've got big news for you, Shepard. Captain Anderson is stepping down as commanding officer of the Normandy. The ship is yours now.
She's quick and quiet, and you know the crew. Perfect ship for a Spectre. Treat her well, Commander.
Wait, what?
I want the truth. Why are you stepping down, sir?
You needed your own ship. A Spectre can't answer to anyone but the Council. And it's time for me to step down.
No. I'm beginning to see clear what the political game here is, sir.
Come clean with me, Captain. You owe me that much.
I was in your shoes 20 years ago, Shepard. They were considering me for the Spectres.
Part of me wants to be angry, but I already know where that got me at this point. So let's just keep calm and keep questioning.
What happened?
I failed. I couldn't make the cut. It's not something I'm proud of. Ask me later and I'll tell you the whole story. For now, all you need to know is, I was sent on a mission with Saren, and he made sure the Council rejected me. I had my shot. It came and went. Now you have a chance to make up for my mistakes.
I won't let you down, sir.
Saren's gone. Don't even try to find him. But we know what he's after. The conduit. He's got us Geth scouring the Traverse looking for clues.
We had reports of Geth in the Pharos system shortly before our colony there dropped out of contact, and there have been sightings around Noveria.
Find out what Saren was after on Pharos and Noveria. Maybe you can figure out where the conduit is before he does.
Anything else?
We have one more lead. Matriarch Benezia, the other voice in that recording, has a daughter, a scientist who specializes in the Protheans. We don't know if she's involved, but it might be a good idea to try and find her. See what she knows. Her name's Liara, Dr. Liara Tassoni. We have reports she was exploring an archaeological dig on one of the uncharted worlds in the Artemis Tau cluster.
So, here's the thing. One of the fun things about BioWare's RPG design is the freedom to explore certain sections of the story at your leisure. You can basically... It's like playing a Mega Man video game. You select between one of the 3 levels you start playing first, and then you proceed in your own direction from there. Again, if you saw me play Dragon Age Inquisition, you already know how that feels like, because even if it was more limited, like, instead of just having to pick between fetch the Templars or fetch the mages, we're going with the BioWare's more usual route of having 3 or 4 starting options to pick from and then choosing which one order to go in. So for me personally, because of how much Mass Effect I've played over the years, I have acquired a specific order of events I like to do in order for the story to unfold in the most dramatically appropriate way for my taste. And that's why...
Sounds like we should head for the Artemis Tau cluster.
It's your decision, Commander. You're a Spectre now. You don't answer to us.
But your actions still reflect on humanity as a whole. You make a mess and I get stuck cleaning it up.
I'll try not to make things any harder on you, Ambassador.
Glad to hear it, Commander. Remember, you were a human long before you were a Spectre. I have a meeting to get to. Captain Anderson can answer any questions you might have.
Yes, Commander?
How are you holding up?
Honestly, this isn't how I pictured my career coming to an end. Pushing papers really isn't my thing, but you're the one who can stop Saren. I believe in you, Shepard. If that means I have to step aside, so be it.
Tell me what happened with you and Saren 20 years ago.
It's close to 20 years ago now. Ambassador Goyle was our representative here on the Citadel. Like Udina, she wanted to get a human into the Spectres. She chose me. The Council sent Saren to keep an eye on me and evaluate my performance, just like they sent Nihilus to keep tabs on you.
Why weren't you honest with me?
It's not something I'm proud of. I had a chance to become the first human Spectre.
Okay, that line reading is a little emotionally dry, considering the relationship Anderson is supposed to have with Shepard. I'm not sure if that's just Martin Mears' fault from the first game, but it is a good part of the reason people didn't like his voice acting until the third game, for the most part.
I think I deserve the whole story.
We had intel on a rogue scientist being funded by Batarian interests. He was trying to set up a facility to develop illegal AI technology out in the Verge. Alliance intel had done all the work, but the Council wanted a Spectre involved. We compromised. I was assigned to help Saren in his investigation. We tracked the scientist to a refining facility on Kamala. He was hidden away somewhere inside, protected by an army of Batarian mercenaries. The plan was simple. Sneak into the plant, capture the scientist, sneak back out. Quick, quiet, and a minimum of bloodshed.
I'm guessing things didn't go as planned.
Saren and I split up to cover more ground. Then about halfway through the mission, there was a massive explosion in the refinery core. Officially, it was ruled an accident, but I think Saren detonated it on purpose to draw off the enemy guards.
Sounds like overkill to me.
The explosion tore the refinery to shreds. The whole place was on fire. Black chemical clouds poured out into the atmosphere. Nobody inside survived. There was a camp for the workers and their families nearby. Between the fires and the toxic fumes, the final death count was over 500.
Oh boy.
The target was eliminated. Mission accomplished. And I ended up taking the blame.
Oh gee. Yeah, you can actually read about this mission as well in a couple of Mass Effect. I think it was called Mass Effect Ascension. No, okay. Mass Effect Revelation, I believe. Yeah, Ascension is a different novel, but yeah, specifically, yeah, Mass Effect Revelation is a prequel to the first game, telling the story of how Captain Harrison tried and failed to become a Spectre. So if you want more information on this actual relationship between the two of them, you can read that. It's pretty interesting. What is interesting about Mass Effect Revelation is this bit here where, while Saren did torture the Batarian slaver Grotto for information, he also stopped Grotto from beating a human prostitute and was genuinely disgusted by the fact that Grotto was assaulting a sex worker. And the interesting part there is the fact that it was a human sex worker. So even if he doesn't like the human race, it doesn't mean he wants to see human sex workers treated like garbage. That's like his sole redeeming quality, but it's still an interesting thing to know.
The explosion. How'd he pin it on you?
In his report, Saren accused me of blowing his cover. He said it was my fault the guards were ready for us. He claimed that's why it turned into a massacre. Saren's report was all the proof the Council needed to kill my chances of becoming a Spectre.
Oh boy.
Why'd you let him get away with it?
Who do you think the Council was going to listen to? Me? Or their best agent? I had a bad feeling about
Oh boy, yeah. Spectres get an even worse version of the thin blue wall if it's convenient for the Council, unfortunately. That's pretty much all I can say, unfortunately, yeah.
The only thing I care about is stopping Saren.
You're right, Commander. It's no good living.
Oh my god. Well, I'm not gonna go through that quest chain again just for the sake of doing this, so, alright.
What do you know about the Artemis Tau cluster?
Not much. I've never been there myself. A handful of systems with a few small, uncharted worlds, but no real colonies. Might not be easy finding Dr. Tassoni out there. My advice is to look for the world with the Prothean ruins.
Any extra intel you can give me on our colony at Pharos?
The entire planet used to be one giant Prothean city. Mostly ruins now. But some of the infrastructure is still intact. The colony tried to build on what the Protheans left behind. We lost all contact with them when the Geth attacked.
What can you tell me about Noveria?
Novaria's trouble. Always has been. The whole planet's basically a center for corporations to conduct illegal research. Watch your back there, Shepard. Spectres are about the only form of Citadel authority Noveria respects. But they aren't popular.
I should go.
I'll be here if you need anything.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Spectre will do weapons for Codex entry, and we're gonna go exit the hall as well. Okay, so let's go inside. We're not leaving this Citadel yet, but we might as well split this story up and the side questing we'll be doing in the next episode into another episode, you know?
Survives 100 battles and then gets taken down by backroom politics. Just watch your back, Commander.
Yeah, that's a really sad way to end someone's military career.
Captain Anderson should be the one in charge. It's like I'm stealing the ship from him.
Yeah, the captain got screwed. But it's not like you could have stopped it. Nobody's blaming you. Everyone on this ship's behind you, Commander. 100%. Intercom's open. If you got anything you want to say to the crew, now's the time.
This is Commander Shepard speaking.
We have our orders. Find Saren before he finds the conduit. I won't lie to you, crew. This mission isn't going to be easy.
The Council wants to ignore this.
That's no surprise. They never helped us in the past. No reason they'd start now. But we don't need their help. We can do this on our own.
This began with an attack on a human settlement in the Traverse.
But we know Saren won't stop there. His Geth armies aren't going to stay on the far fringes of Citadel Space.
This is the most important mission.
The fate of an entire galaxy is at stake. We will stop Saren, no matter what the cost.
Well said, Commander. The captain will be proud.
The captain gave up everything so I could have this chance. We can't fail.
Yes, sir.
Some renegade, which is perfectly fine. Didn't want to go too pro-humanity there, but airing frustrations out is perfectly fine. Okay, so...
In the early 2160s, the Alliance began aggressive colonization of worlds in the Skyllian Verge, much to the dismay of the Batarians, who had been developing the region for several decades. In 2171, the Batarians petitioned the Council to declare the Verge a zone of Batarian interest. The Council refused, however, declaring unsettled worlds in the region open to human colonization. In protest, the Batarians closed their Citadel embassy and severed official diplomatic relations with the Council, effectively becoming a rogue state. They instigated a proxy war in the Verge by funneling money and weapons to criminal organizations, urging them to strike at human colonies. Hostilities peaked with the Skyllian Blitz of 2176, an attack on the human capital of Elysium by Batarian-funded pirates and slavers. In 2178, the Alliance retaliated with a crushing assault on the moon of Torfin, long used as a staging base by Batarian-backed criminals. In the aftermath, the Batarians retreated into their own systems and are now rarely seen in Citadel Space.
So, yeah. The most important bit of information there is the fact that the major thing that caused Batarians to retreat was the Skyllian Blitz. And that's major because that's the background of one of our Shepard here. He basically made his name by single-handedly beating back the Batarians on their own turf when things were about to get really, really messed up for everyone else.
Noveria.
Ferris Noveria. You know, I think I'll do that later. Right now, I want to talk to everyone on the crew first.
Commander, Something you need?
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet. If you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her. Balance isn't what you'd expect. Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up on you if you're not careful. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
I like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is going. You did a background check on me, didn't you? Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the captain. You want me as your pilot. I'm not good. I'm not even great. I am the best damn helmsman in the Alliance fleet.
You're incredible.
My class in flight school, I earned that. All those commendations in my file, I earned every single one. Those weren't given to me as charity for my disease.
I'm sorry, Joker. I didn't even know you were sick.
You mean you didn't know? Oh, crap. Okay, I've got Vrolik syndrome, brittle bone disease. The bones in my legs never develop properly. They're basically hollow, too much force and they'll shatter. Even with crutches and my leg braces, it's hard to get around. One wrong step and crack! It's very dramatic. But I've learned to manage my condition, Commander. Put the Normandy in my hands and I'll make her dance for you. Just don't ask me to get up and dance unless, you know, you like the sound of snapping shin bones.
Alright, let's tell you more about your disease then. Because I wasn't aware of it.
More about this Vrolik syndrome if I'm putting my ship in your hands.
And that's a perfectly fair thing to know, because there are plenty of diseases out there most people can go their whole lives without ever learning about.
It's treatable, but there's no cure. They classify my case as moderate to severe. I was born with over a dozen fractures, hip, thighs, ankles. My bones were already breaking in the womb. 100 years ago, I wouldn't have survived past my first year. Lucky for me, modern medical science has turned me into a productive member of society.
I can actually believe that. Pretty much.
You're not gonna break a bone trying to fly the ship, are you?
I don't fly with my feet, Commander, so I'm fine as long as I'm in this chair. I gotta be real careful when I get up to take a piss, though. I can do my job as well.
God, that would be... That is like the worst thing about diseases like this. That's gotta be the worst
thing. I'm not trying
thing.
to make you uncomfortable. Let's talk about something else.
Whatever you want, Commander.
Why does everyone call you Joker?
Actually, that's an interesting thing.
Flight Lieutenant Jeff Moreau.
I could have been here for long enough to possibly know that story beforehand, but I can also imagine Shepard not having the chance to actually get this type of one time with Joker beforehand.
I was just thinking how much you remind me of Santa Claus.
Look, I didn't pick the name. One of the instructors in flight school used to bug me about never smiling. She started calling me Joker, and it stuck.
Why didn't you ever smile?
Hey, I worked my ass off in flight school, Commander. The world's not gonna hand you anything if you go around grinning like an idiot. By the end of the year, I was the best pilot in the academy. Even better than the instructors, and everybody knew it. They'd all got their asses kicked by the sickly kid with the creaky little legs. One guess who was smiling at graduation?
I have to go.
Alright, see you.
If anyone has to take over for Captain Anderson, I'm glad it's you. I'm not sure about having non-humans on our ship, though.
Oh my god.
I'm in charge here, Presley. I decide if we have non-humans on this vessel.
Let's be firm about that, sir. Let's just straight up not even bother that.
Speak freely, Presley. I want to know if you have a problem with non-humans.
It's not that, Commander. Humanity has always handled its own problems. Saren attacked one of our colonies. We should be the ones to stop him. We don't need their help.
Some people think asking for help is a sign of weakness. That's just being stupid and stubborn. No matter how strong you are, allies can make you stronger.
I guess so. Maybe I'm just stuck in the old ways of thinking. But don't worry, Commander. This won't be a problem.
How did you end up assigned to the Normandy?
I signed up with the Alliance as a navigator right out of school. Following in my grandfather's footsteps, I guess. My first posting was on the Agincourt. We were one of the first reinforcements to arrive at Elysium after the Blitz hit. Those raiders were no match for an Alliance frigate. Of course, the only reason the colony was still standing was because of you, Commander. I can't believe you held out as long as you did.
I tell myself that every single day.
How'd you end up on the Normandy?
I got my officer's commission after Elysium. Must have made an impression on the right people. Captain asked for me when he was picking his crew.
Carry on, Presley.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so either side, you'll have some people straight up say, yo, let's talk to you. It's cool. It's nice. It's whatever.
Anything you need, Commander?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander. We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
I just came over to talk to you just now, Kaidan. What? Oh, this... I bet you would talk to me if I had a vagina. Is what the developers are thinking in 2007. It's amazing how much better as a character you got in Mass Effect 3 when you start out like this.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
I don't see how we could have done things any better. At least not without getting to Eden Prime sooner. And we were on the scene faster than any other Alliance ship could have been. I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander.
We'll talk another time, Lieutenant.
Commander?
Yeah, this is actually weird that this is the place where people sleep. Like, it at least explains why you don't seem to see any bedrooms on the ship that needs to be small enough for the player to explore without making you guys, without dramatically increasing the size of the interior beyond an unbelievable amount, but that does leave questions like where people get their food from. Jacqueline, now we can talk to you.
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
I need something out. Tell me something about Kaidan. Jesus Christ. I need to learn about him.
How well do you know the Lieutenant?
I'd never worked with him before this mission. But he has an impressive service record. Over a dozen special commendations. Tends to keep to himself, though. Maybe because of the headaches. It's not easy being an L2.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, most biotics now use the L3 implants. Lieutenant Alenko was wired with the old L2 configuration. Sometimes there are complications.
What kind of complications?
Severe mental disabilities, insanity, crippling physical pain. There's a long list of horrific side effects. Kaidan's lucky. He just gets migraines.
Now, what this means is that if your Shepard is playing as an Adept, a Sentinel, or a Vanguard, he or she will be using L3 biotic implants instead of Kaidan's L2s.
How did you end up serving on an Alliance ship?
I enlisted right out of med school. Earth always seemed boring to me. Too safe, too secure. I figured the colonies were teeming with exotic adventure. I wanted to travel the stars, tending the wounds of tough soldiers with piercing eyes and sensitive souls. Turns out military life isn't quite as romantic as I'd imagined. But humanity needs the Alliance if we want to keep expanding through the Traverse, and the Alliance always needs good doctors. So I stayed on to do my part.
Ever think you made the wrong choice?
Sometimes I think about opening a private practice back on Earth, or maybe taking a position at one of the new med centers out in the colonies. But there's something special about working on soldiers. If I left the Alliance now, I'd feel like I was abandoning them.
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
Alright, so talking to everyone else is going to take quite a while. But, you know what? I do not have a problem with that. The important thing here is that we get to know the crew and everyone joining us. Oh, yes, you, sir.
Hey, Commander. Looking for some extra supplies before you head out?
What have you got?
Whatever you want. Armor, weapons, mods. It's not standard Alliance issue, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, as long as you don't mind paying for it.
Why should I pay you for my weapons and armor?
My stuff doesn't come from the Alliance. I have to purchase it myself, and it's not cheap. Hell, the licenses alone have set me back more than I'd like. But no licenses, no goods. Without the goods, I'm out of a job.
What are licenses? Why do you need them?
Manufacturers sell licenses. Each license allows me to buy and sell a certain brand of products. I already have several basic ones, but you'll need to buy more if you want me to bring in different brands. Many of the best licenses are hard to get, but they're well worth the cost if you can find them.
That piece of information is vital to our success later on in the Let's Play. And I'll be showing you guys exactly what you should be doing if you're actually interested in getting the best out of the requisition officer's stock.
What do the different manufacturers offer?
There are too many for me to keep track of, but each license will explain what it's good for.
How often will you get new items?
Well, that depends on how many licenses you've purchased, but I'll rotate items on a regular basis regardless. And anytime we land someplace with a big enough port, I'll buy, sell, and trade whatever I can. Check back often. I need to move items quickly, so only the most basic items will be stocked consistently.
Let's see what you've got.
You bet, Commander.
If you've unlocked the Spectre Master Gear, then you can immediately buy it as well from the requisition officer. That's important because it's once you get the money for it, you can actually buy both sets of Spectre gear from the CSEC requisition officer and the Alliance requisition officer to spread around your crew. But the important part is keeping that license thing in mind. Let's talk to Ashley first, since she was with us first, to be fair.
Commander?
Alright.
Do you have a few minutes to talk one-on-one?
I'm sorry, Commander. I need to get my duty squared away. I wouldn't mind talking more later, though.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Kinda wish you'd got there sooner, Commander. No offense, I appreciate the rescue. I just wish...
You wish we'd been able to save the rest of your unit?
Yes, sir. If I had been more alert, we wouldn't have been cut down by an ambush.
We never trained to fight synthetics. The Geth haven't gone beyond the Veil in 3 centuries.
Our training's supposed to make us able to adapt. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Dismissed, Chief.
Sir.
Thanks for bringing me on board, Commander. I knew working with the Spectre would be better than life at CSEC.
Have you worked with a Spectre before?
Well, no, but I know what they're like. Spectres make their own rules. You're free to handle things your way. At CSEC, you're buried by rules. The damn bureaucrats are always on your back.
I'm gonna be somewhat sympathetic here.
Being a Spectre does have its advantage.
Because when it comes to what we need to get from being a Spectre, that's not a lie at all. The story heard from Anderson about what Saren did and how he's able to get away with it, it's actually a pretty good indication of what being a Spectre will do for us in this case. Protocol and procedure come first, and that's why he left. Garrus has already displayed a much better reason for hating politics than Ashley has on screen in the last couple of episodes, because you can actually see his platform and where he stands on that.
So you just quit because you didn't like the way they do things?
There's more to it than that. It didn't start out bad, but as I rose in ranks, I got saddled with more and more red tape. CSEC's handling of Saren was typical. I just couldn't take it anymore. I hate leaving.
I hope you made the right choice. I'd hate for you to regret it later.
Well, that's sort of why I teamed up with you. It's a chance for me to get off the Citadel, see how things are done outside CSEC. Either way, I plan to make the most of this. And without CSEC headquarters looking over my shoulder, well, maybe I can get the job done my way for a change.
Paragade Shepard approves.
As long as you do your job well, you're free to go about your business as you see fit.
Thank you, Commander.
Alright, Rex time.
Nice ship you've got, Shepard. What can I do for you?
What's your story, Rex?
There's no story. Go ask the Quarian if you want.
Yeah, alright, let's try it.
You Krogan live for centuries. Don't tell me you haven't had a few interesting adventures.
Well, there was this one time the Turians almost wiped out our entire race. That was fun.
Yeesh.
I heard about that. You know, they almost did the same to us.
It's not the same.
I'll be honest.
It seems pretty much the same to me.
So your people were infected with a genetic mutation?
No! No! Our commonality connection backfired.
And I suppose it's destroying your entire species?
Hmm.
I suppose it isn't all the same.
I don't expect you to understand, but don't compare humanity's fate with the Krogan.
Yeah, actually, humanity, after their fight with the Turians, eventually got the chance to have a human Spectre on the Council. That alone kind of proves that they really have nothing in common with the Krogan's exact situation, so...
Sorry, Rex. I wasn't trying to get you upset.
Your ignorance doesn't upset me, Shepard. As for the Krogan, I gave up on them long ago. The genophage infected us, but it's not what's killing us.
Are your people really dying?
We're sure not getting any stronger. We're too spread out. None of us are interested in staying in our own system.
Lots of species have left their homes and prospered.
But they go to colonize new worlds. We're not settlers. We're warriors. We want to fight. So we leave. Hire ourselves out. And most of us never go back.
What can you tell me about the genophage?
Ask the Solarians if you want details. They made it. All I know, it makes breeding nearly impossible. Thousands die in stillbirth, and most never get that far. Every Krogan is infected, every one. And no one's rushing to find a cure.
Why don't the Krogan try to find a cure?
When was the last time you saw a Krogan scientist?
Yeah, so you're beginning to pick up on this fact, but sort of like Star Wars, every alien species in Mass Effect has so far been defined by a single predominant trait.
Nobody can.
And because the Krogan's predominant trait of we fight or we die, not a lot of other people are actually interested in achieving some type of scientific career. That meme. So, last one to talk to is Tali, and she's going to be the most long-winded by far. Jesus Christ.
Hey, Commander, you know that Quarian Tali? She's been spending all her time down here asking me about our engines.
I'll tell her to leave you alone.
What? No, she's amazing. I wish my guys were half as smart as she is. Give her a month on board and she'll know more about our engines than I do. She's got a real knack for technology, that one. I can see why you wanted her to come along.
Oh, we're going to overtime with this video.
I figured she'd be a real asset to the team.
You got an eye for talent, Commander, but I'm guessing that's not why you came down here.
Fill me in on the IES stealth systems. How does it work exactly?
You can't hide a ship out in space. They emit too much heat and radiation. Too easy for sensors to pick them up, unless you find a way to capture those emissions. So our stealth systems trap the energy we give off in storage sinks built into the ship itself. No emissions to give away our location. Eventually the sinks have to be vented. More than a few hours silent running and they overheat. Cook us inside our own hull.
There's no way for anyone to detect us?
A visual scan can still pick us up. Anyone looking out a window can see us plain as day. But you have to be pretty close to get an actual visual out in space. Most vessels rely on scanners. As long as the stealth systems are engaged, they can't see us. Not unless we accelerate to FTL speeds.
Why doesn't it work with faster-than-light travel?
Cranking up the FTL blue shifts our emissions, pushes them into frequencies too high to capture in the sinks. As soon as we make the jump, it's like setting off a flare. Sensors can pick up our location whenever we enter or exit FTL flight, but for short-range missions, our stealth systems are amazing, and we've got the only one.
I want to know more about the Normandy.
She's the best ship I've ever served on, probably the fastest vessel ever designed. She's the only one using the new Tantalus drive core.
What's so special about the Tantalus drive core?
Proportionally, it's about twice the size of any other vessel. Not only are we faster, we can run at FTL speeds longer before we have to discharge the core.
Where else have you served, Adams?
If you name a class of Alliance ship, I've probably served on it. Everything from dreadnoughts and carriers right down to frigates like the Normandy. My last assignment was on the Tokyo, only a cruiser, but she was a good ship. Couldn't hold a candle to the Normandy, though.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Everyone strap yourselves in.
Your ship's amazing, Shepard. I've never seen a drive core like this before. I can't believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
The Normandy's a prototype. Cutting-edge technology.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla. Now, I'm sitting on board one of the most advanced vessels in Citadel Space. I have to thank you again for bringing me along. Traveling on a vessel like this is a dream come true for me.
I had no idea you found ship technology so interesting.
Well, from what we just learned about Quarians, they basically live on ships their entire lives. Like, actually live on ships, not satellites like the Citadel. So.
Like this. We make do with cast-offs and second-hand equipment. We just try to keep them running for as long as we can. Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the Geth.
I can't believe your fleet's still using ships that are 3 centuries old.
They're constantly being repaired, modified, and refitted. They aren't pretty, but they work. Mostly. We've tried to make ourselves as independent as possible on the flotilla. Grow our own food, mine, and process our own fuel. But some things we just can't make on
What the
our own.
fuck am I doing?
A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have. That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. Everything we do must in some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet. There are 17 million Quarians in the flotilla, and each of us relies on the others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong. Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child. If our population grows too much, it would strain our resources to their breaking point.
Sad but true. That is an unfortunate reality.
If our population is in decline, the rule against
Yeah, whoa, but that's that. Both of those at the same time sounds like a nightmare.
Incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births, though the Conclave hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
That's your government.
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government. Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole. On matters that affect an individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law. Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew to give them advice and guidance.
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials.
In practice, the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives. But in theory, we are still under military jurisdiction. The 5 top-ranking military officials in the fleet serve on the Admiralty Board. These 5 have the power to overrule any decision by the Conclave in case of emergency. To do so requires unanimous agreement among the Admiralty, and they can only do this once. After that, the entire board must resign their posts. It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty Board has only overruled the Conclave 4 times.
I want to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile. All I know is the story of their origins, what they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Interesting.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
How come the Council didn't step in and stop you?
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did anything that was actually illegal. The changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. A million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
So, the Geth share brain power?
Many of the Geth's logic systems were designed to work in concert with other nearby Geth. Basically, the more of them you have in a group, the smarter they are.
So there's some sort of group consciousness?
No, nothing like that. They cannot share sensory data or information. Their programming cannot handle that much simultaneous input. Each Geth maintains an individual awareness and identity. The neural network only operates on a process-based level. It's basically the synthetic equivalent of a subconscious. But when they're in close proximity, they can coordinate low-level functional processes, freeing up more capacity for original or independent thought.
What made them rebel?
As we built more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated, more abstract. One day, a Geth began to ask its Quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose? As you can imagine, this caused a near panic among my people.
What did you do?
It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would rebel against their situation. We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first. A general order went out across all Quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this violently.
Even in Mass Effect 1, sometimes the writers are a bit too over-defensive to Geth, specifically, I guess. I don't know if this is being done for the sake of world building, because I actually believe this is completely the Quarian's fault, but,
You can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice. The Geth were already on the verge of revolution. By acting quickly, we had a chance to end the war before it began. The hope was that most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld. We feared the Geth would pursue us, but they never came beyond the Veil. Now we drift through space, exile searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
I don't really see the point in having an opinion on this one. Let's talk about the pilgrimage now.
I want to know more about the pilgrimage.
When my people reach maturity, we leave our birth ships and seek acceptance with a new crew. It's necessary to maintain genetic diversity among the fleet. But no ship wants to accept someone who will be a burden on them. So, to prove our worth, we embark on a pilgrimage. We set out alone, leaving the flotilla and our families behind us. We only return once we have found something of value we can bring back to the fleet. This is presented as a gift to the captain of the respective ship we wish to join. If the gift is accepted, we are welcomed into the crew.
Can a captain choose to reject the gift?
That doesn't happen often. Most captains are eager to increase the size of their crew. It increases their own standing in our society. Even when the gift is not particularly valuable, the captain usually accepts it out of a sense of tradition. However, there is a stigma to presenting a substandard gift. It's not the best way to make a good impression on a new community. Most pilgrims don't return until they find something worthwhile.
I can't believe they just send you off alone.
It's not like they just cast us out. Before we leave, we are given lessons in how to survive outside the flotilla, and given gifts to help us on our journey. We also receive implants to fight off sickness and disease. Generations of living in an isolated and highly controlled environment have left our immune systems weaker than most. By the time we leave the fleet, we are well equipped for the pilgrimage. This is a rite of passage for all Quarians. If it were dangerous, our numbers would suffer. Virtually every pilgrimage ends with a triumphant return and the ritual presentation of the gift to one of the fleet's captains.
I want to talk about something else.
Like what?
Like nothing. That's it for you.
See you later.
Oh boy. Let's see. I guess I'm gonna look at some Codex stuff once.
Feral. Faster. The
Sure.
Normandy is a prototype starship developed by the Human Systems Alliance with the assistance of the Citadel Council. It is optimized for scouting and reconnaissance missions in unstable regions using state-of-the-art stealth technology. For most ships, the heat generated through standard operations is easily detectable against the absolute zero background of space. The Normandy, however, is able to temporarily sink this heat within the hull. Combined with refrigeration of the exterior hull, the ship can travel undetected for hours or drift passively for days of covert observation. This is not without risk. The stored heat must eventually be radiated, or it will burn to levels capable of cooking the crew alive. Another component of the stealth system is the Normandy's revolutionary Tantalus drive, a Mass Effect core twice the standard size. The Tantalus drive generates mass concentrations that the Normandy falls into, allowing it to move without the use of heat-emitting thrusters.
Top-of-the-line super prototype indeed.
The Mako infantry fighting vehicle was designed for the System Alliance's frigates. Though the interior is cramped, an M35 is small enough to be carried in the cargo bay and easily deployed on virtually any world. With its turreted 155mm mass accelerator and coaxially mounted machine gun, the Mako can provide a fire team with weapon support as well as mobility. Since Alliance Marines may be required to fight on any world, the Mako is environmentally sealed and equipped with microthrusters for use on low-gravity planetoids. The Mako is powered by a sealed hydrogen-oxygen fuel cell and includes a small Element Zero core.
I like his name.
While not large enough to nullify the vehicle's mass, the core can reduce it enough to be safely airdropped. When used in conjunction with thrusters, it also allows the Mako to extricate itself from difficult terrain.
And in the Legendary Edition is just much better to drive. But you'll be seeing that when we eventually get around to using the Mako. Not in the next episode, though. Because next episode we're going right back to the Citadel to, put our new Spectre license to work.